What's up, Internet? Welcome back to the Fan Out Crew YouTube channel. My name is Colby Sullivan. I've got my partners in crime, Brian and AJ, on the other end. AJ, it's been a minute, man, since we talked. How's it going, brother?
It's been going all right. Just a lot of working, a lot of streaming. That's pretty much my whole life now. We're officially fully work from home.
Really? Nice.
At my job, so we're not going back to the office. They made us go back and get our last bit of stuff from the office, so we're not going back.
You hit a big streaming milestone too recently. I think since the last time people saw you here.
Yeah, I mean, I hit a couple of I like the channel kind of blew up just a little bit, not like a big thing, but like I hit my 200, and then with it before I could do my 200 follower like video, I hit 250. So they got me there, and now I'm up to 300. So I'm like now doing I have another milestone that I'm shooting for, hitting 343, which if you're a Halo fan, that is a reference, and I'm going to be doing a Halo stream when we do that. So
nice, man. Well, congrats. Well, welcome back. It's been a few weeks since we talked. Guys, I didn't have anything super like crazy planned tonight. I just wanted to kind of go do a little maybe like advanced deep dive into the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer that came out recently. I know Brian and I did a reaction on our channel a few days ago. Go check that out if you haven't seen it already. And it was funny. I watched it, Brian, and my reaction is like totally muted, like compared to the Eternals reaction. Eternals, I was like, "Oh my god, this is insane!" And then I watched our Spider-Man reaction again, and I was just like, "Oh, cool, Doc Ock's back." Like I wasn't. I mean, it was so weird because like I guess because I knew it was confirmed already, and it's amazing. Like I can't wait. So I wanted to kind of dive in and maybe check out some Easter eggs and stuff in this trailer, and maybe go into some theories and stuff. I know you guys have some that you wanted to kind of talk about. So
yeah, because I know but both trailers were awesome. This one was just as exciting, but yeah, our reaction was a little more low key. I think we both had a crazy day and week.
Loki.
We're a little low.
We're not talking about Loki. We're talking about Spider-Man. All right, I'm done.
Man, you know what I'm talking about.
Hold on. How many beers have you had?
That's why it's worth half.
Okay, half a beer, like always. So I just wanted to kind of go over here and just kind of check out some stuff. So basically, like, let me see if I can find this little thing here. So right here at the 6-second mark, when MJ and Peter are kind of sitting on that rooftop, she's reading the paper or whatever. No one seems to be talking about this, and it's very hard to see. But you guys see that that graffito? By the way, graffito is actually the singular form of graffiti. Look it up; it's real. So that is a reference to Steve Ditko, who I'm sure you guys are familiar as a longtime Marvel artist and everything. So I thought that was cool because it's very subtle in the background there. But what are your thoughts on?
I can't even think about that because I'm still stuck on what was it? Graffito.
Yeah. Graffito is one tag. Graffiti is plural. So technically,
you just like blew my brains out.
Technically, there is graffiti in this picture because there's more than one tag. But the one that I'm talking about is a graffito. What are you gonna do? English is weird, man.
That sounds like a supervillain.
Graffito.
It should be a supervillain.
Fear Graffito.
All he does is
all
he does is carry like one can of spray paint that has like one hit left in it, and he just leaves. So I thought that was cool. He, Ditko's been around forever. He doesn't get enough credit. Kind of like Jack Kirby. Stan Lee gets all the pub, but
yeah, Ditko's a cool callback. That is something that was planted there for the that's kind of a deep Easter egg for people that read the comics. People that just watch the movies probably have no idea what that is.
Right. Exactly. And I can't tell what like paper she's actually reading because
I think it's New York Post.
Is that what it is? Okay.
If I remember
because
correctly, yeah. Because it wasn't the Bugle. When I was looking at it originally, I was like, it's not the fucking Bugle.
Yeah. Well, apparently in this iteration of the Bugle is more of like a InfoWars like online only outlet, which I think is a cool sort of not really twist,
modern version.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good modern version of it. So I think that's cool.
They did something similar to that in the video game. Like, you still had the Daily Bugle, but J. Jonah Jameson wasn't with them anymore. He had his own podcast.
The Spider-Man PS4
and
game
did like stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm I'm an Xbox guy, so I've never actually gotten to play that game.
It's amazing.
I hear good things though. Cameron and I are still playing Lego Marvel on Xbox 360, so I'm behind the times a little bit. But it works for him. He's 6. So yeah, you know, I still don't know that I buy Peter and MJ, this iteration of them. I don't know that I buy their chemistry. I mean, I think the two of them are fine individually. I don't know that I really like them together necessarily. Cameron had never seen the Raimi Spider-Man, so when I had to explain to him, like, this is sort of Doc Ock from that universe, and we'll get to that, he was like, what are you talking about? Like, he just didn't know what there was another Spider-Man. So I'm showing him those, and we're watching Spider-Man 3 tonight. Right. I didn't really buy Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst's chemistry at all in the Raimi one. This one seems a little bit better than that. I don't know, what do you guys think?
It's funny you say that about the Raimi movies, because it's been so long since I actually sat down and watched them, and the wife,
they're still very good.
Down,
they hold up very well. I was surprised.
Well, we sat down and watched the 3 of them, because I haven't watched them in probably 7 or 8 years, and I love the first 2. I forgot how much I enjoyed those movies.
Yeah, the second one is amazing. Alfred Molina is just the perfect villain for that era of comic book film, you know, campy and just sort of same thing with Green Goblin. Green Goblin's suit is just laughable, but it works in that universe.
Yeah.
Defoe as Goblin just is perfect. I literally watched the first one last night.
Nice.
Just on a whim, we watched it.
That's cool. Good timing on that.
But yeah,
so,
I like Tobey Maguire a lot more than I remembered liking him.
Yeah, for sure. I like him better as Peter. I don't love him as Spider-Man, and the opposite is true for Andrew Garfield. I think he's too much of a like jock, like douchey version of Peter. You know, he's a great Spider-Man though. I think so. It's Tom Holland. I think
he teeters a little too close to
them.
Deadpool with his
antics.
But
true.
As far as your what you were saying about MJ and Peter in this one, I think this will be the movie where we really get to see it shine.
I hope
hopefully.
so. Yeah.
Because you really don't see them together at all until the very end of the last movie. I mean, the rest of the movie they're just kind of awkwardly dancing around it. So
yeah, and then so they talk a little bit, you know, on the roof, and then they kind of like I guess this is him. Like this is probably the scene after that where he's just kind of like doing web swinging with her.
I think
around
that's
the city.
A callback to a comic book cover.
Yeah, probably, but.
It's a callback to every single time he ever has his spider sense, because that's what they used to do.
Yeah.
Like if he was out of costume, they used to half and half his face, and then the spider sense would come out of the spider half of it. So
yeah, I don't know if it was behind or just before that clip when it shows those screens. There's a green background.
Yeah, so it's got Jameson. It's got Jameson there. Yeah, so. How many freaking screens are there?
Too many.
It's like, good God, man! Is this building made of TVs?
I remembered in watching the Raimi movies is J.K. Simmons is J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, dude! I mean, if they brought anybody else back to play him, it wouldn't have worked. You know, like
he is JJ almost as much, if not more, as RDJ being Iron Man.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be like it'd be like having a Stan Lee cameo with someone who's not Stan Lee, like pretending to be him. Like you can't have J. Jonah Jameson without J.K. Simmons. It doesn't work, you know. So they're swinging through New York, and then a lot of people are speculating that this guy right here is Matt Murdock, and Daredevil could potentially be Spider-Man's lawyer in this film. And I'm curious to know your thoughts on that, as actually like Charlie Cox from Netflix. Like
I would not have even thought about it, but
and now you can't not think about it.
Yeah, well, I can't unsee it because it does actually kind of look like his silhouette, but now I just want to see it.
I 100% think that it could be a thing. I'm not sure if this is going to be him because the guy seems too aggressive. He seems like a cop.
Yeah,
right.
Well, this is the guy there too.
100%.
This is the guy, and I think he's a little too thick around the middle, unless Matt is like patting himself when he's not wearing his Daredevil costume.
Well, we see this guy's face. I thought.
No, so there's two.
No.
There's two. I don't think you see his face. Yeah,
No,
you
don't.
don't.
I'm pretty sure you don't.
And okay, let's
Plausible.
get into the real like meat of this trailer. So Peter and MJ are clearly full on dating in this movie now. I mean, that's not any kind of surprise. They're FaceTiming. I want to show you this part, which I think is actually really cool. Okay, I'll get to. I'll come back to this in my prediction. I mean, devil in disguise.
I think we'll have a similar prediction.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Like, I don't think this is again. We'll come back to it. But I want to show you this real quick. This scene at 40 seconds. This little shot rather at 40 seconds. MJ, Ned, and Flash Thompson are walking with Peter, and I think it's interesting because Flash is right behind MJ here, and to me, like, people are clearly taking pictures of Peter. Like, this is after they've revealed his identity. Flash appears to be supporting Peter here. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
He dyed his
it
hair.
kind of fits in with, yeah. He's blonde Flash. He's blonde in the comics. They had to make it blonde some way, apparently. Yeah, I mean, it was. I think it makes sense for his character, as far as the character in the comics. Even in the second movie, he was fanboying over Spider-Man a lot.
Right.
So he like there was a nice juxtaposition in the second movie where he's like, Spider-Man is awesome, and then Parker says something. He's like, yeah, and he's like, shut up, Parker, like,
Yeah.
not knowing that he was Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's like he
I-
inspires me to be a better man, and then Peter walks in and he goes, "Hey, penis, what's up?" or whatever, something like that.
Yeah. I have a feeling.
What's up,
that
dickwad? That's
he's
what he says.
Not actually being supportive. I think that he may be leeching off of the attention.
Okay. The
True.
flash,
He
the
did have
flash
his whole,
mob.
like, yeah,
That dude.
yeah.
By the
I was
way,
gonna say he did have his
what
whole,
a fucking just perfect name for a for a group of followers for him, dude. That's perfect.
Influencer.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I could see it going both ways. I'm just waiting on Ned to become Hobgoblin. Okay, next scene. Let's see. So some hand holding, more FaceTime. So I'm guessing this scene right here. I'm guessing this scene right here is right after it's revealed, because if you look, this is the Far From Home suit, the sort of black and red. So this is probably right after, because they were in the middle of the city when that happened. So now the news helicopters are there, but that's pretty damn fast. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, there's a good chunk of this I think is like literally right after the end of
For sure.
end of that movie.
Yeah.
Like all of him swinging through with all the J. Jonah Jamesons. If that's not, and it just literally hit me, if that's not a dream sequence, because
Sure.
that could be like a stress dream that he's having with all the J. Jonah Jamesons that are like on the screen.
Yeah, it does seem kind of.
that
It does seem
literally
kind of like over the top with all those screens. It's like, damn, dude. What the hell,
and
Samsung?
actually, too, thinking back to that kind of interrogation room when they were questioning him, I had forgotten at the end of that movie the implications that he does technically own all the drones that did all of that shit. And I kind of forgot about it at the end of the last movie.
One thing that I saw in comments is people are like, who cares that Peter's identity has been revealed? Like, the MCU has never had secret identities. Everybody knows Natasha Romanoff is Black Widow. Everybody knows Clint Barton is Hawkeye. Everybody knows Tony Stark is Iron Man. It's like, this picture right here, 48 seconds. This picture right here tells you why it's important. These are children we're talking about. The worst people on the planet, like teenagers are going to make this kid's life an absolute living hell. Like, this is a big deal that he's, out now. I mean, he's a child. So it's not, it would totally be a big deal if, this were to happen to him. What do you guys think?
I actually, I was telling my wife this after watching the Raimi movies again, is I feel like the only thing that this trilogy of movies has gotten wrong about Spider-Man is everyone knows who the hell he is. Like, even before it's out, like, everybody knows who he is. And that's like part of Spider-Man's core thing has always been his identity and not being able to share his secret and always getting in trouble for being late because he can't tell people why he was actually late.
Right,
Like it's
exactly.
a core part of his character that they just kind of threw away, I feel like, in this trilogy.
Yeah, Mary Jane
And
just
so
sort of
I-
figures it out by herself. You know, like,
yeah, and so like I'm a little because so many people have already known, which is just kind of out of character for him. And the Spider-Man that I know and love, I haven't read a lot of the more modern Spider-Man stories, but it's a little like the pop of everybody finding out about it, like just isn't as impactful to me.
yeah,
Like,
hear
because I
you.
think back to the Civil War comic, like it was such a big deal that Spider-Man of all people decided that he was going to reveal himself. That was such a huge pivotal moment because his identity is probably more closely protected than any other Marvel character.
And I think that it does. I was going to say, I think it does make sense on two different levels for this set of movies for them to do that once. It's been done twice over, the whole secret identity thing. And I feel like they're moving away from it a little bit, the secret identity thing, with these movies. I mean, I don't think that a lot of their identities are open knowledge. Like, I don't think Barton's identity is open knowledge. His family definitely
I mean,
wasn't.
how is it not though? He and Natasha don't even wear masks. Like they're just straight up like out there. You know what I mean? Come on. Like I feel like everybody knows Hawkeye. You mean in the comics or do you mean in the MCU? Because
I mean in the MCU, but
okay.
it's what I mean by open knowledge is, I mean, it's not a secret, but not everyone knows. Like you it's kind of like
not
like
on the
Sia.
news.
Everyone knows Sia. Everyone knows Sia. There are pictures of Sia without her, her hair.
But if
over
you ran
her
into her
eyes.
on the street, you wouldn't recognize her. Yeah, I hear you.
Right. So that kind of thing. So it's like it's just not open knowledge of who they are. And Spider-Man's even more so because the only people that know who he is are the Avengers. And the reason he's shown himself is there's a big difference between the way the comic books have been set up. Spider-Man was early comic books, so like he was an established superhero way before the Avengers even showed up and before Cap was on ice and all of that. So he was an established superhero, where he became a hero and was fanboying after them and trust them implicitly. So I feel like that's why he trusts them a little bit more. Not saying it's necessarily a bad thing or a good thing, but I get the logic of why he would let them know.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like within the context of Peter's journey, it would be a big deal for people to know because that's been a big deal for him, is to keep it a secret. The other Avengers that we do know are out there, but that doesn't mean that it's okay that everybody knows. It'd be a big deal, especially for someone who's 16, 17 years old. So 56 seconds now. There's some debate. Is this just a generic like Halloween decoration? I mean, it is Halloween. You can see in the background there. Or is this actually are these actually Doctor Strange lights? I'm on the fence. I originally thought these were Doctor Strange lights, and now I think they're just some rando like wizard. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I would 100% believe if someone told me that they were actual Doctor Strange lights, because I feel like
Yeah, I think they are.
Like they do it in the comics a lot, where they sell merchandise of the characters. I mean, think about it. This is a capitalistic nation.
Right, like remember in
there's gonna be
remember in
merchandise.
Shazam?
Someone's making a
in
dollar.
Shazam
Weird
when he throws the giant Batman at the dude, and like, get him, Batman. There would totally be toys of superheroes.
Well, this looks like the black and red makes me think vampire, and the one front and center almost
he has
looks
blood
like
on his,
it's
on
got
his yeah.
vampire, but the witch hat doesn't really match the vampire look, so I don't really know.
I mean, it doesn't matter, but it's just kind of funny. It's like, if it's not Doctor Strange, it's really on the nose. Like,
It is, yeah.
It's
As soon as
Doctor
I saw
Weird.
it-
It's like the B version,
Yeah, the first time I saw this, I immediately recognized it as that he's thinking about Doctor Strange.
Right. Yeah, and you're supposed to, for sure.
I'm curious where he's
I
at,
mean, it could
though.
be just generic Warlock.
Because I noticed at the top left, there's a milkshake menu. And the first time I watched that, I actually thought it was decorations at his house. And I doubt his house has milkshake menu. So
Yeah, that's a good point. I thought it was like lights hanging up in Peter's apartment too when I first saw it, because he's just such a fan of everything. All right, so what's the
hell's
deal?
going
Okay, what's the deal with the frozen sanctum? Is this because Wong and Strange were both dusted? Okay. Did no one just patch the ceiling for 5 years when they were gone and it's just been snowing? Or is this Doctor Strange magic gone wrong? Or is this Mephisto?
Didn't they send Kilowog through a portal to somewhere frozen?
Kilowog? That's DC.
You're talking about
Not
You mean Black Call Obsidian?
or Black Dwarf,
Yeah,
whichever.
yeah.
But
Why
it
did
was
I get
weird,
Kilowog?
and I'm gonna take a sidetrack for a second. What if I was watching it with subtitles on? They call Obsidian Black Dwarf in the What If, which Black Dwarf is his comic book name.
Right.
They renamed him for the
Well,
the movie.
It's a different universe,
So I
so
was like-
maybe
That's what I was saying. I was like, is that a mistake or is that like a little interesting touch because it's a different universe?
I will say.
Anyway, I digress.
No, you're good. I'm glad you brought that up because that reminds me there are mistakes on those things all the time. You know the not the closed caption, the subtitles, but the audio description they do. You know, when Quicksilver shows up in WandaVision and she opens the door and it shows the back of his head, the audio description literally says Pietro from the X-Men film shows up, and people were like, what? And then it ends up to be a boner joke, you know? So those things are not, I mean, you can't go canon. Those are not canon, but at the same time, it is interesting. It's like, are they messing with us or is it just a mistake, you know, or is it a real thing? So,
But
I'm
yeah.
gonna see if I can-
Anyways, that
some good
portal.
picture of
I
this.
thought didn't they send him to like
was it frozen?
a frozen place?
I thought it was. It's either frozen or a desert. I think you're right. I think it was, but so maybe that's just been open. No, because he closes it, and that's not in the sanctum anyway.
But then also, like, if
that's
the
not in the
roof
sanctum
was
though.
off, if
Yeah.
the roof was still blown off, there's not been a single scene throughout this entire trailer where there's snow anywhere besides for here.
Sure.
So there's something unique happening here.
I was gonna say it's 100%. It's Halloween. It's fall.
Right.
It's not cold enough to have snow. And then the whole thing about the frozen planet, that was in the middle. That was the
Central Park. Yeah.
fight at the. Yeah, and he comes back and then dies at the end of that movie, so
He
he wouldn't
escapes
still be
at some
there.
point, yeah.
And then the new, and then when the 2014 one comes to the future, his ass gets dead too. So there would be no reason for them to go to the frozen place for him.
I suspect that Strange is okay. I'll get into my theory later. Let's assume for a minute this is Doctor Strange. Okay. I think he's probably just been trying some other magic and some things are just kind of going a little awry. He's either lost his touch now that he doesn't have the time stone. You know, I know he still wears the eye of Agamotto. Maybe he has just like a keepsake. He doesn't have it on there, which I think is interesting. So anyway,
I think it's a comic callback, really.
Yeah.
And I mean, for what you're talking about, because this happens constantly. Someone will show
Right.
up at Doctor Strange's place, and it will be in disarray for some weird shit. Like, just something weird's going on.
Like-
and it's just a way to show that he's constantly...
like we can't understand the
the
stuff that
Sorcerer
he's
Supreme.
doing. He's tinkering with stuff, and it's not meant for mortal men kind of thing. Like it's not. We can't understand it.
Yeah, it's just a way to show that he is constantly the Sorcerer Supreme. He is constantly having to
Yeah.
fight forces of magic. And it's just a way
wanna
to
see
do
if
it.
I
You know,
can-
you'll just randomly show up at his house, and it'll just be weird.
Okay.
Yeah, because Peter's not even wearing like winter gear. Like he's wearing fall gear. So it's
Right.
not like that outside.
Oh yeah, it's totally localized to the sanctum, which I think is funny that he has his cape around this big like parka thing that he has on, which is just kind of funny because he's still Doctor Strange. You know what I mean? Like he can't not have his cape. Anything going on with his hair that you guys are noticing here versus every other
He's
iteration?
aging a little bit.
Well, what I'm getting at is I'll see if I can find the other scene, but his hair is all he always has two little like kind of like Superman curly cues kind of coming down. His hair is perfect in this trailer except for a couple of scenes. You know what? Screw it. We're going down the rabbit hole. I'm doing it. I'm not gonna wait.
Let's do it.
I think I'm not going to straight up say this is Mephisto pretending to be Doctor Strange. I'm going to say that something is going on with Doctor Strange in this movie. I don't know what it is, but this is not the Doctor Strange that we know. It may be him, but I'm saying he's acting very differently, and he's just... Look at him. That's not Doctor Strange right here. Plus, you can't tell, but his coffee mug says "Oh, for Fox's sake," which I thought was funny. Like that's not something Doctor Strange would do. Like is this a Doctor Strange variant? Like, is this a different version of him? Because his hair is perfect except for right here. This is the only time we see Doctor Strange like by himself, and look, he looks like he's meditating at
he's like in a catacomb
a minute and 25 seconds. Yeah, is he like in some kind of prison here? And is this the real Doctor Strange? Because look at his hair. That's the Strange that we know. Okay, and then look at him here. 129, perfect again. Now it's different scenes, obviously, but they made it a point to talk about Strange's hair in Infinity War with Iron Man, you know, all that stuff, like very beginning. I think that they're showing us something here. Look, it's perfect when he's casting the spell too. I don't think this is our Doctor Strange. Why does he have the freaking Eye of Agamotto on? He shouldn't anymore. There's no point to have it. So, you know,
I am 100% with you. Because of the connotations of the trailer that we'll talk about later, what's going on, I am 100% with you on this. We talked about Mephisto, or I did at least. I don't think we talked about it much with WandaVision, about Mephisto going to show up eventually.
Right.
And the connection with WandaVision and Chthon as well.
Well, I think there's some implications for him and Loki too. And that time clock that seemed to be kind of manipulating things, I can't remember the name of, from Loki. It happens to be the same.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah, happens to be the same color as the like mystical art, effects that they use. So.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it. Okay, look, check this out. Okay, this other shot with him, the one of the money shots from the trailer, 2 minutes and 21 seconds when he's pushing out Peter's soul from Spider-Man. He has the Far From Home suit on. Okay, Strange in
what is that box?
Strange in this picture has his
some other box.
Strange in here has his trademark little like curly Q thing going on. So is Peter trying to take something from the Sanctum? I mean, if you can't tell, but if you zoom in really, like the Sanctum logo is on this box. Like he straight up took that out of the Sanctum. Now, is this one of those mirror dimension things where like, why would Strange be doing this to Peter in this scene? I mean,
the interesting thing is Peter looks like he was coming at him, not running away from him.
Yeah, I think whatever's in here, Peter's trying to get it away, and the real Strange is trying to take it back. Again, I can't.
It looks like his hand is stuck in it.
Yeah.
Like it's not that he grabbed it, but like maybe he tried to reach into it and got his hand stuck.
Right. And there's one. I'm trying to find the part where they're fighting on the train. And
I'll save my theory.
Okay, that right there, the little like, this is very similar to what it looks like when they're in the tunnel in Ragnarok, but it's also similar to the scenes in Doctor Strange when she awakens him or whatever, and shows him all the different like, you know, dimensions that he goes through and stuff.
Yeah. It's a time vortex from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And this background reminded me of the scene from Loki where the ring of time.
Yes,
that's kind of around and it separates.
Yeah, I can't find the exact spot, but they definitely do kind of lean into that too, where they show the very similar purple background. It's kind of, you can kind of see it here.
It's 100%. It looks like the Citadel at the end of time.
Yeah,
like what they had for the background.
Was his hair perfect there?
Yes, when he's casting the spell, it's the perfect hair. Now look, okay, I finally found it. 2 minutes 15 seconds. When he's on the train, he does not have the cloak, but he still has the eye.
Yeah, it's all black.
Yeah, does not have the cloak, but he has the eye, and he has the perfect hair, and so he's totally fighting Peter here. Now again, I could be making a mountain out of a molehill with the hair thing, but like, it's a thing with his character. Like it's a tell of his, right? So
it's a subtle thing that Marvel's been known to do,
Yeah.
even back to if you do you know the thing about Willem Dafoe's teeth in the original Spider-Man movie?
I remember hearing something about it, but I don't remember the details.
Anytime he's Harry Osborn, he has veneers on, and they're perfect teeth. When he's Green Goblin, they're out.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And he's got his normal
Norman,
teeth,
you
which
mean?
are a little
Yeah.
bit, they're not straight. Yeah.
Okay. So this shot with the Iron Spider suit. So we see there's glimpses of different suits in this trailer. We see the Far From Home suit. We see a new black suit, which I guess is supposed to be some kind of Sorcerer Supreme, like mystical Spider-Man suit or something. I don't know. The Iron Spider,
it's just a stealth suit.
the spell suit or stealth suit. Okay, yeah, maybe. It's definitely not the symbiote. We know that that's not happening yet. Yeah. I keep calling back to these shots of the Iron Spider. Look how goddamn wide this shot is. Like, you're telling me that like they didn't digitally just take out Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield from this picture? Like, seriously? Plus, let's go back to, or not back, but forward. Okay. There's some laser sights, and then it cuts to Happy. That appears to be the same scene because of the laser sight thing. And then you just can't tell. There's not enough contrast here, but
something comes out of there.
This is either the Lizard or some other hulking figure who looks a lot like Venom, but I'm not going to say. Go ahead.
Put it on the .25 speed and play that and see what it looks like, if it actually shows us anything.
Yeah, so here, let me back it up.
Because I've tried to just pause it on it, and I can't pause on it.
Yeah. But you can totally see okay, look. Oh, man, I missed it.
It looks like something kind of spreads.
I missed it by one frame. Yeah,
him.
dude, it's you can see right here, like that's the back, that's like the shoulder and the arm kind of spreads out, and
there's like a portal opening right there.
Yeah, so it looks to be the size of Venom. There's no way in hell it's Venom. The very next shot, he has this special black suit on again. Okay, this is obviously Electro. Is that?
What if that's a rubberized suit?
Maybe, yeah. Is this just sand?
Is that Sandman,
is this just sand getting kicked up from the lightning, or is Sandman protecting Peter here? If this is Sandman, like, what the hell? How many damn villains are in this? Like, what is going on in this trailer? This movie is going to be bonkers, dude.
This movie is supposedly the longest non-Avengers.
2.5 hours, they said. Yeah, even if none of our theories are right, and they're probably not. Like, I don't think Doctor Strange is Mephisto in this movie, but goddamn, like, how much? Like, look at what they're giving us. Now here comes the other money shot. Okay, this is clearly the OG Green Goblin Pumpkin Bomb. Like, that is exactly what they look like in the Raimi verse. So, and then we clearly hear William Dafoe's laugh. We don't see him or anything, but I don't think they're going to show that. Doc Ock and Electro were already confirmed to be in this movie.
Let's talk about the voiceover there too.
Right here in the black screen.
The most misattributed voice that I've seen on the internet. Everyone's misattributing this voice.
The whole "Be careful what you wish for, Parker." It's 100% Doctor Strange. Like, it is one.
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
It is absolutely. It's absolutely Benedict Cumberbatch, and he's making his voice sound a little bit deeper, and that's all it is. It's
more evil.
People are like, "Oh, it's Harry." Brian thinks it's Harry Osborn. I'm like, bro, no. And people are like, "Oh, that's 100."
I did the first time. As soon as you pointed out it was Cumberbatch, though, I was like, "Oh, you're right."
Oh yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
Like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's Harry. It's Norman. It's Willem Dafoe." I'm like, dude, it's Benedict Cumberbatch.
It to be.
It's not. It's Doctor Strange. Like, clearly,
it's maybe not Doctor
It makes
Strange,
sense in
but it's
content
somebody.
context. It makes sense in context too.
Now,
because that wouldn't. I mean,
this is the other scene that people just like are freaking out about. Okay, obviously we see Doc Ock, and he's been de-aged. He has different glasses. I don't think that they're trying to pass off this version of Doc Ock as the exact one that came out of the river, the very end of Spider-Man 2. Like, this is just a different iteration. It's the Spider-Verse, man. This is just a different iteration. This is maybe a Doc Ock that won in his universe. Who knows? And when he says hello, Peter, let me back it up just a second here. people are making
he recognizes Tom Holland, which is interesting.
People are making a big deal out of this suit, not the Spider-Man suit, but the actual like suit that Tom Holland is wearing. They're saying this is the exact same suit that Tobey Maguire wore in one of the other Spider-Man movies, and I'm like, maybe it is, but who cares? Like, it's
the same color palette.
Yeah.
It'd be an homage.
I think it's an homage at best. But like, some people are suggesting, now I buy this, but some people are saying that when he says hello Peter, he's actually not talking to Tom Holland, that he's talking to Tobey Maguire, because that would be the version of Spider-Man that he knows is Peter, because at the end of Spider-Man 2 he takes his mask off and he knows he's him. He would not recognize Tom Holland. So some people are suggesting that this is actually Tobey Maguire in this shot and not Tom Holland, and they're doing a Hulk and Infinity War, tease or misdirect. I think here's another damn Iron Spider shot that is so goddamn wide. Why are these shots so wide on this bridge? Like, I mean, I get they're trying to show stuff, but you're telling me that like Andrew Garfield is not hanging from this street light and Tobey Maguire is not standing right here, and they're not all three on screen together right now. Like, that's what I think is going on. I think they're removing the other two actors, because they're in this movie. They're in this movie, right? There's no way they're not.
I would agree with you. You clicked off of it too early for me to say anything earlier, but if you looked earlier where you were talking about it was super wide, and in the background to the left there were like broken those water-filled containers, those that slow you down.
Yeah.
There are like repeated tops. Like, they look like the same exact asset. Like, I mean, I might be reading into it too much, but it looks like two of those are the exact same thing, just repeated. Which makes me think that someone went in there and rotoed out someone.
Yeah. It's not like Tom Holland is actually really in this shot wearing the fucking Iron Spider suit in real life. They could easily take out the other two Spider-Man actors, like, because they're not there to begin with. They would just have to put them in. I think that they are either like, because there's no reason for these shots to be this damn wide, and for our Spider-Man to be right in the middle of the shot. Yeah. So there's a lot going on in this movie. Just straight up a lot going on. Doc Ock, I mean, the de-aging gets better and better every time we see it. The Samuel L. Jackson one, like, you can't tell. If they had not said that they de-aged him and got to Marvel, I wouldn't have known, man. That dude looks exactly the same. Alfred Molina has lost a lot of weight though. So, and plus, I mean, he's at an age where like 20 years is a long time. 20 years is a long time anyway, but you would totally be able to tell. However, it doesn't look Uncanny Valley like a lot of stuff does to me. Like, this looks okay, and it's possible they could like clean it up, before the release.
I think it will be cleaned up. I think a lot of this is like, because there was the leaked trailer, and if you didn't ever watch the leaked trailer, I didn't, but from what I heard, what I understood, it did not have all the effects.
It did not. You're right.
It was an unfinished trailer. So one of the things that makes you think is that they rushed some of these effects out so they could go ahead and capitalize it out.
Did you see this could be totally a coincidence. I mean, there's a 1 in 365 chance, but in WandaVision, there's this trailer came out on the 23rd, I think, maybe. In WandaVision, is it like a star or like a little heart on?
It's a heart.
Yeah, on August 23rd on the calendar, they drew it with like a Sharpie. Is that totally just a coincidence, or did they do this on purpose just to like fuck with people? Like, I don't know if Sony and Marvel are that tuned in to each other. It could be a coincidence, but damn, that's crazy.
Happy coincidence for sure.
I think so too.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. More of a happy coincidence, and it may even be because they had to release it. It was like, well, we'll release it on this date, because it makes sense, and people will go like,
yeah,
that thing. Yeah, but there is a big connection between this and WandaVision and Loki and what is going to be Multiverse of Madness. I think there's a big connection with all of those. So it could be too. So
Brian, the other day you mentioned, or maybe yesterday, you mentioned something to me that I think my my Mephisto theory notwithstanding, I don't think it's real. Like, I just think that there's some things going on with Doctor Strange in this movie that are just off. You had a theory yesterday that I think may be dead on. Like, I think you may have figured it out. Why don't you go ahead and share that with everybody here?
I'll go into it. So, couple things just to kind of set the stage. I think that Doctor Strange is kind of doubting himself as Sorcerer Supreme, which I think is why he's willing to try this magic after Wong leaves and like kind of gives the wink like, yeah, I'm Sorcerer Supreme. We're going to do what we want. But he also is like, seems like he's kind of struggling to do this spell. And Peter's like making all these modifications and whatnot. But I think that Doctor Strange didn't think to make sure that he remembered who Peter Parker is.
He even said that's not how the spell works. Like, he made it seem like everybody's going to forget.
Yeah. And so I think that up through this point, it is actually good Doctor Strange. I think he's kind of living in a weird place because he feels like he failed as Sorcerer Supreme, losing the time stone.
Doesn't one of them say, like, what did you do, like, after the spell is done? Is it Strange that says that? Because did he just forget what he just did? Or was it Peter that said that? I'll have to go back and watch it.
I think Strange says it. But then I think later, I think the train scene, it doesn't look like they're working together. It looks like Strange is trying to stop Spidey. Yeah.
So maybe he's forgotten.
He thinks Spidey broke time.
Right.
And broke reality. And I think that the scene where he's pushing his spirit out of his body or whatever, I think that Spidey is trying to get some sort of artifact from the Sanctum to resolve the issue, and Doctor Strange just thinks that Spider-Man is a thief that fucked all this up.
Strange could have told him before the spell, hey, this is something you need, like, you're going to need to, like, take this to, like, do something with it or something, and then, like, he casts a spell and then forgets all about it, and then he's like, what the hell are you doing with that, dude? Like, this is, you know what I mean? Maybe that's what's going on.
Yeah, because here he looks surprised. I don't remember if this is right before the spell or right after.
The only thing, not the only thing, but one of the things that gives me pause with this is that there's something going on with Doctor Strange. Either this is a variant or it's not, just straight up not him. Like, he's the one guy, like, that wouldn't do this spell. Like, he's in charge of the time. Like, he's the Sorcerer Supreme. He knows how important it is not to mess with the timeline. Like, he basically told Tony, look, there's one way we win this. I can't tell you what it is because it won't happen. He would not cast this spell unless he's, like, seriously desperate to, like, for his own game. But I don't see that. I don't see our Doctor Strange doing that at all.
No, I look more at it as I think he is feeling like a failure as Sorcerer Supreme. Like, he was entrusted to protect reality.
That could be it. I'll totally buy that. And he's like, look, this is my one shot to, like. But what does he get out of it? He doesn't get anything out of this, you know.
Yeah,
I can see AJ deep in thought right now.
I could totally see the Mephisto thing too.
So I have something to throw at you guys. So everyone, you're seeing this, you're talking about Mephisto. Everyone is kind of latching on to One More Day, which is the comic book storyline where this happens, where Peter goes to Mephisto. He
goes to Doctor Strange, and Strange tells him to fuck off, and then he goes to Mephisto after that. So, that's what I was going to bring up. That's not One More Day, what you're mentioning, but people are latching onto One More Day, which only shows directly after Civil War that basically Aunt May gets shot, right. And in order to save Aunt May, Mephisto shows up and gives him the offer. I will break up your marriage. You won't remember it. I want your love, basically. Your payment for this spell is going to be your love, your entire existence with Mary Jane. And so that's the payment. He pays that price to save Aunt May. That's One More Day, and that's where, I would 100% see that this could be a Mephisto. But there's also a sequel story that actually kind of retcons a little bit of that. That story was not well received. One More Day was not liked by fans.
No.
Isn't there a Mysterio storyline that goes into some of this?
Mysterio storyline, not that I'm remembering. There's a I was going to talk about
holy
this too.
shit!
But
What if
there's
this
a
is actually
Daredevil
Mysterio
storyline
the
that
whole
does
time? Like, what if he didn't die and no way and Far From Home? And what if this is actually just Mysterio fucking with him again? Like that would that'd be a total cop out. But I mean,
Who's that messing up everything? It's Mysterio all along.
yeah, exactly.
So, but no, there was one more day, and then years later you had one moment in time, which is actually before even Aunt May got shot. This reveals that the way that Mephisto
Brian just had
changed it
an
for
absolute light bulb moment. Like
yeah, the way the and this could be like a split point, like going back to Loki, that before he even went, that he instead of like going to Mephisto, that he did go to Doctor Strange instead, but Doctor Strange literally does what happens in this trailer. He gets mad at Peter because Peter keeps saying he wants MJ to remember him.
right.
And angers him, and then causes a whole bunch of chaos. Not as deeply as what's happening here, but very similar. So I almost feel like those two things are kind of smushed together.
What if the like stuff that happens in the Loki finale, like the stuff at the Citadel, what if the timeline splits at the exact second that Doctor Strange casts this spell, and then like the multiverse is just fully unleashed? Maybe like what if the spell actually works as far as making people forget, including Doctor Strange, and then the fucking multiverse blows up? Like, that would just be nuts.
What if, so thinking back to my light bulb moment, we know the next movie after this with Doctor Strange is the Multiverse of Madness. We know that that's a Sam Raimi film. We know that Doctor Strange, obviously, and Wanda is in it, Scarlet Witch. We also, if you remember, in WandaVision in that last episode when she's in the cabin and she's like full on Scarlet Witch.
There's something really interesting in that scene too. I'll talk about it in a second.
There's that little kind of shadowy figure that floats down to the cabin. Was that Doctor Strange?
That's a CG artifact. They like I've seen like a deep dive on that, and
well,
it's
they've
totally
gone back
like
and
a
modified
shadow
that
or like
scene too, though.
Yeah, the most important thing about that scene, and people, it's just really subtle if you don't really think about it. Wanda's astral form is reading the Darkhold in the back room or whatever. Her physical form is out front walking around. Like Doctor Strange can't even do the fucking Ancient One can't even do that.
Well, so
like
here's
every time their astral form leaves, like their physical form passes out. So Wanda's like on a whole other level.
I'm curious because I feel like what she's studying is how to alter reality. Like we know that's what she wants to do.
Yeah, so she can get her kids back.
Is she posing as Doctor Strange and using this as her first experiment in altering reality?
Holy shit, dude. Wow. Well, there's also a lot of people also think that like the second that like you can hear her kids' voices at the end of that WandaVision episode is the second that the timeline splits, because now the multiverse is unleashed and there's a reality where those are her kids, you know?
So let me finish the thought. So what if this is Wanda posing as Doctor Strange and she's using this as an experiment to alter reality because she doesn't want to get her first experiment fucked up with her kids? So she does this as an experiment, and then the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is her and Doctor Strange teamed up to fix her mistakes from this.
I'm here for it, dude. Straight up, like that's awesome. Plus, they show
either way.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say either way, like if it is her or if it's Mephisto or whoever it is, either way, I think it's going to be. That's what Multiverse of Madness is going to be.
Yeah. This film is going to lead directly into that. Yeah.
It may not even be that Scarlet Witch. There's rumors that she's the protagonist or the antagonist.
She's the villain in that movie. As far as I'm concerned,
there's rumors that she is going to be the villain. Whether she'll be like all out fighting against them or just like to the point like I'm trying to get my kids, you can't stop me. Or like a evil turn. for Scarlet Witch. Probably not a full-on evil turn, but more along the lines, I'm saving my kids no matter what. You can't stop
whatever
me.
it takes.
Because there's a third character that has been announced for that movie, and that's America Chavez, who is basically has the ability to just kick holes in the universe and move between realities. She's also got flight and super strength and stuff like that, but her main drawing point for this is going to be the fact that she can basically move between realities at will. So I think that's going to be the person that's helping Doctor Strange more than Wanda is, honestly.
I just thought of something. I'm checking.
While you're looking at that,
You might be a genius, Colby.
So what if,
just so you know.
Well, I know. So what if Brian just nailed it and it is Wanda, and that part where we see Doctor Strange like meditating with his little curly Q thing, maybe that's the prison that he's in, because the whole they made a point to show in WandaVision, if she casts those runes, whoever cast them is like protected, and like maybe she's figured out some way to like keep Strange hostage so she can like pretend to be him, to do exactly what Brian said, to try to like break reality to get her kids back. I mean, plus her kids are steeped in Mephisto anyway. Their whole existence is basically because of him. Go ahead, Brian.
What I was checking on is I just remembered you pointed out the coffee cup that seems unusual for him.
Yeah.
And then I remembered she was drinking tea.
She's drinking coffee
at the end, and I was going back to look at the mug to see if it was the same.
Nice, yeah, dude.
Not.
That's funny.
That would have been nice,
Yeah.
but the coffee mug is another thing that makes me think of Mephisto. Honestly,
here's the thing: if we want to,
what's sly as a fox, kind of like clever,
and if we want to get super,
plans,
like in the weeds about this, like the ninth circle of hell in Dante's Inferno, where Satan resides, is straight up covered in ice. Like, what's the first thing a demon from hell is going to want to do? Just like in Dogma, he turns the fucking AC on and he's like, there's no exquisite sin greater than central air. He's going to want to be freezing. Like, look, there's no way this is nuts. There's no way it's going to happen, but we're going to watch this movie. It's going to be awesome. I don't want there to be too many villains. I don't want the original Spider-Man 3 to happen again. Let's get back on track, specifically with Spider-Man. Go ahead.
On track and also segueing from what you say, I think we're going to get a full-on Sinister Six.
Well, so
because we've already got 5.
There's clearly 5 in the trailer. There's the unknown hulking one who we're going to pencil in as Lizard for now.
Same.
Okay.
I 100% think it's
that's
Lizard.
1. There's obviously Doc Ock. That's 2. Green Goblin 3. Electro 4. I think Sandman 5. And then hold on, you're muted, AJ. And then
I was gonna say that's the kind of 5th one.
Well, yeah, assuming it is Sandman. Who would be the 6th one? Doctor Strange? I'm just kidding. I mean, what other properties like or Spider-Man villains could there possibly be? There's one. Scorpion is already in the MCU, as is Vulture. So that's technically 7. I mean, they've got a lot to choose from.
It makes sense to me that it would end up being Vulture, because all these other villains are from other universes. So having one to kind of tie in, would make sense. So if you got a Sinister Six instead of introducing all these new ones for people who haven't seen the Raimi movies or haven't seen the Garfield movies,
because let's say that is Lizard from the Amazing Spider-Man series. They also brought in Electro from that. They bring in Green Goblin and Doc Ock from the Raimi verse. That leaves 2 for Tom Holland's universe. We know Scorpion and Vulture are already in the MCU. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's not Sandman. Maybe it's just, lightning bringing up sand, and so each Spider-Man in this movie, assuming the other 2 are in it, and they are, in my opinion, maybe they each get 2 villains from their universe to be the Sinister Six.
Yeah, and I do really appreciate that to kind of differentiate themselves, that it's original yellow lightning Electro, if it is Electro, which
that's what I said earlier about Doc Ock. Like, I think it is just a Doc Ock from some other universe, that knows Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man or is Spider-Man, and this is a different version of Electro, you know, because it's clearly not the same version of how could it be Doc Ock? How could it be Green Goblin? They're Electro. They're dead.
Well,
unless it's a different time.
Could we
maybe
be
they're pulled
getting
from
an
time.
alternate Venom?
Yeah, I mean,
that's not.
I don't
Lizard.
know, dude. Like, there's no way in hell they could keep Venom a secret. Like, there's just no way, dude. Like, there's freaking Reddit threads about like Uber drivers who not Uber DoorDash drivers who have delivered food to Andrew Garfield, and they swore they saw like part of a script or something. Like, there's crazy shit going on. There's no way Venom will be able to be kept a secret. I don't think.
I don't know.
I mean, what if they shot all of his scenes while they were shooting Let There Be Carnage?
I mean, dude,
and then just
people
rotoed
in
him
the theater would fucking go nuts if that's Venom. But I don't think they're gonna put Venom in the Sinister Six. I don't think so, because Venom is a good enough villain on his own to fight Spider-Man alone. You know. Plus, the iteration of Venom that we have has no ties to Spider-Man. It's not the. It's not the.
What if they team up?
You know. Brian,
Hardy
you're killing
is
me.
Sort of a good guy.
You're killing me, Brian. You're killing me, man. You're
But I mean,
me, like
they teamed up in Maximum Carnage.
no, I know. I'm just saying, like, stop putting good ideas in my head, because none of this we talked about the entire fucking video is going to happen. You know, Doctor Strange is not even in this movie. It's all
It's
all
man.
fake.
That scene with all the laser pointers pointing in the building, they want us to think it's a bad guy. It's actually just Venom, and he's gonna be like, "You're Spidey, what's up?" and go. I don't know.
He's gonna turn around.
Another
Oh, you scared me.
Yeah.
Another thing it could be too, kind of rolling back to the Venom thing, or the bad guy saying, what if it's Scorpion, and it is, instead of Lizard, it is Scorpion who's the hulking the mask, because like in the comic books, the Scorpion gets a suit. He's a bigger dude.
Venom and Scorpion actually merge at one point too. So let's not even go down that fucking rabbit hole.
Matt Gargan had like was the second Venom, I think.
Yeah.
And he was not good as a Venom. As in, like, he was kind of crazy. But like, I would 100% see the end of this movie, because this is the third contracted movie that they have. So unless they decide to make more, unless Marvel and Sony come up with a new deal to make more, I could 100% see this movie ending with not Andrew Garfield, with Tom Holland ending up in the universe that Venom is in, to kind of merge Sony's productions together.
Yeah.
It'd be a way to get them separated, but also make it story sense, and it would benefit Sony. And that could have been something that was brought up with the negotiations, because if you guys remember, like a year or two ago, there was a big thing about whether this movie was ever going to get made, because of the fact of
for like 2 months. For like 2 months, there was no more deal again or whatever, and they had to kind of
it's crazy because like these movies are the same thing as printing money. Like Sony and Marvel both are making an assload of money off of these.
But Sony wants to make that money alone, is the thing.
The problem is Sony's proven time and time again they can't make. they can make a good couple of Spider-Man movies, but then they can't put it all together and do the true Sinister Six. Like, the Amazing Spider-Man movies they're bad. The Raimi-verse is good for the most part, but
they got Venom wrong. That's all they did. That third movie is just weird.
It's too much, and that's what I'm worried about with this film. I don't want it to be too much. They've proven. I mean, if they can do Infinity War and Endgame, 6 Spider-Man villains won't be a big deal, but we'll see. We're going at an hour now, so we should probably wrap it up. Any other crazy theories before we go? I've said mine. I don't really think he's Mephisto, but there's a lot of breadcrumbs, man.
Madam Web. Are we going to see her?
That's a good one. AJ?
I think we got into my big one with Mephisto, and we kind of touched on it before about the whole Daredevil possibly being in it. I would love to see them kind of rope in the Netflix shows in ways that they've never really done before. Yeah. Especially since I think this year or next year the rights go back or go away from Netflix, and Marvel can start using those characters. It's really soon, I think. So if not already over, because I remember there was like talks of making a Punisher show again. Or continuing that show. but I think that Netflix lost exclusivity rights at some point this year, which would be the reason why Charlie Cox could show up in this movie as Daredevil. But I would love to see them tie that in and move further down the path they were building with the Netflix shows.
My only expectation that I'd like to throw out there is if we do end up having Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in this, I think that Tobey Maguire will probably play a similar role to Peter in the
Peter B.
Miles
Parker
Morales movie.
Yeah,
where
for sure.
he's kind of like more of the
Out of
has-been
shape and
Peter Parker.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I think.
One more big theory. If it is Mephisto sent Wong a letter for a free trip to Madripoor, all expenses paid, and that's why he's in Madripoor in Shang-Chi fighting Abomination, because
Shang-Chi takes place during after the snap and before the blip, though, doesn't it? Doesn't it take place before everybody comes back? That's my understanding. I haven't seen it yet, but that's what I've been told. That may not be accurate. But
Wong is in the movie.
Oh, I know. Oh, wait,
so I don't know.
That's right. Wong was dusted. So that actually would make sense. That he's like, hey, I'm going to fight this tournament. Don't you fuck anything up while I'm gone? Because Wong is kind of always like the voice of reason, you know. Shit. What if that's Abomination? That big hulking thing? Because we like what? Interesting. That
I
would
think
make
it'd be
sense.
too small to be Abomination. It's not quite big enough, and he's not really a Spider-Man villain. So
anyway. Guys, if you've hung out this long to our crackpot theories, we really appreciate it. Do us a favor, give us a like if you would. Liking these videos helps the channel more than you know. We really appreciate it. Brian, you just had you had a face. Did you just think of something else? One more thing, or are you done?
I just thought of the villain that we're missing out of when we went through all the villains that have been in
I felt like we were
movies.
I felt like we're missing one too.
Rhino.
Yeah.
They didn't get him right. We need a good Rhino.
Yeah, they do a CJ Rhino with just Paul Giamatti voicing
Yeah, they
him.
had the right actor.
And
They just had the wrong execution.
He's in that movie for like 2 seconds. So, yeah. All right, guys.
The other one that I would love to see just in a movie, and it's probably not going to be this one, but would be Craven. But
well, you know who they cast for that, right? Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Did they cast him
Yeah,
over?
Aaron Taylor Johnson, who was Quicksilver, is Craven the Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing something like that when they originally were casting the Sinister Six for Garfield, right? They had him cast as that. That's right. I remember that now.
Well, they just cast him like recently for future Craven movies, like for Sony. Yeah, so he's like Craven.
Literally, we love
so
this trailer and can't wait to see
Jared
it.
Leto's gonna show up. That's what it is. Jared Leto's gonna show up. He's gonna be Morbius.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. There's so much stuff going on with this trailer. I'm confident that Marvel will keep Sony from getting too Sony-fied. You know what I mean? I think Kevin Feige's like, look, he's on the phone.
Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, he's on the phone like, hey, don't mess this up for me. I got more movies planned. You know, you guys can go do your own shit, but, you know, we're the money printer. So, anyway, guys, thanks for joining us for this deep dive and crackpot theory video. Like and subscribe. We'll look out for some more videos soon. Jeff's had some family issues coming up, so hasn't been able to join us lately. We're planning on doing our Thor reaction or MCU rewatch soon. Very underrated movie, by the way. Fight me. Brian, any final thoughts before we end it?
No, I think we're good. Also, you know, he said like subscribe to all that stuff. Let your friends know about our channel too. Share it with them, and
yeah, we really appreciate it. We've gotten some really good traction with the Eternals trailer, so check that out if you haven't. Also check out our reaction to No Way Home. AJ, thanks for coming by tonight, man. We really appreciate it. We'll do it again soon.
AJ, drop your Twitch stuff since you came in and hung out too.
Oh yeah, it's twitch.tv/the Man in Black streams. So yeah,
it's a very fun stream to watch.
If you want to see AJ get scared, you know, there's some tons of Alien Isolation stuff on there. He does a lot of other stuff. You can make him dance if you want. There's some cool interactions you can do.
You can leave your friends behind too.
Good one. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. As always, fan out. See ya.
Out.